I'm going to read from my story, Body Image, and it's sort of the end. So what you guys need to know is that Carla is a middle school girl who's realized her body parts can be removed, and she's traded some with another girl named Jessica, and she's also been bullied by a girl named Tiffany. Sorry. Carla tried to pay attention to the film in case there was a quiz, but the hair sitting on her desk kept distracting her. Her hand crept towards the hair and she touched it lightly. Tiffany didn't even flinch. Carla took a deep breath. It wasn't wrong, she thought, if you steal from a bad person, like Robin Hood. Carla leaned forward, grabbed a handful of hair near Tiffany's scalp and pulled. The sound reminded Carla of Velcro. Tiffany turned and looked at the hair in Carla's hands and then touched the top of her bald head. Her face distorted as she screamed. The lights flicked back on and the rest of the class watched as Carla took off her own hair and put on Tiffany's. Tiffany continued to scream and looked at the teacher in protest. Miss Madsen stared open-mouthed as Angela, a pretty girl with red hair, joined Tiffany's screams in chorus as her hair also was yanked off with a crunch. Once the girls of Nelson Middle School realized they could remove their body parts and exchange them for others, chaos ensued. As Carla was walking to her locker to look at her new hair, Stacy ran up and grabbed her nose. She turned to grab it back, but a different girl, twice her size, kicked her in the stomach and held her head between her legs as she ripped off Tiffany's hair. There was nothing for it. As Carla ran toward the gym, she saw a girl she didn't know very well and hit her over the head with a math textbook. The girl hit the floor. I'm sorry, she wailed as she took her nose and hair. Jessica found Carla in the locker room. Her top lip was larger than her bottom. We have to get out of here. Jessica's speech was muffled by her new lip. We're at school, we can't just leave. We gotta go to the boys' locker room, she said. Jessica related that most of the boys could not remove their body parts. Their voices still high and their faces still chubby. Carla and Jessica quietly edged outside the door when Tiffany, bald and eyes wild, kicked Carla in the shins and held her by the throat against the wall. Carla gasped for air as Tiffany snarled, "Where's my hair, Carl?" Swarms of people gathered in the gym with a roar, girls clawing at one another. Bonnie from English grabbed at Tennis Mallory's chest with her remaining arm. The breast tumbled out and fell out from underneath the bottom of her sweater onto the floor. Tennis Mallory shoved Bonnie to the ground. A tall 8th grade boy, among those who had barreled out of the locker room, grabbed at the breasts at their feet and ran out the door. Miss Madsen was trying to separate Angela and the girl who had removed her hair while nursing her own dislocated shoulder. Mrs. Canton, the guidance counselor, stood on the bleachers, her voice made tinny through a megaphone. "Removing body parts is disrespectful. Give them back. Love your bodies, girls." Yvonne had 3 noses in her hands, but none of them her own. Nerd Mallory, smaller than the rest, pulled at her mouth and her knees, unable to remove anything at all. Carla coughed and realized Tiffany's hands were no longer on her throat, but at her feet and no longer attached to Tiffany. The crowd had pulled her away. Carla blinked and saw people pulling Tiffany apart appendage by appendage, including Sarah from Social Studies and Stacy, Tiffany's own best friend. Jessica was nowhere to be seen, but Carla thought she recognized one of the yellow kids with her foot still inside it by the basketball goal. Carla thought she saw 2 girls hugging until one of the girls broke in half. Carla slid further down the wall as a leg slammed into the wall where her head had been. As fewer girls remained, the gym got quieter, lips, noses, eyes, and hair strewn among the dodgeballs. Thank you.